Hey there everybody, my name is Marian and today I'm going to read you a really special story. Now look at this book. This is probably the smallest storybook you've ever seen and probably the smallest storybook I've ever read. It's called Jonah and the Great Fish. We read this story on Yom Kippur every single year. Yom Kippur is the most special day of the year for Jewish people. It's a time when we reflect on our behaviour and think about all the things we've done during the year, all the naughty things and all the nice things, but especially the naughty things, and we ask people and God to forgive us, and we try and promise to be better in future. So let's start the story. Now, one of the reasons why we read this story on Yom Kippur is to remind us that everything, the entire world and everything in it, is in the hands of God. Even the great big raging storm that you're going to hear about in the story and the big fish. It's very funny that the word big appears at least 14 times in this story, and yet we've got this very tiny storybook. So let's begin. Let's all sit comfortably. Are you ready? Cool. Nineveh was a rich and powerful city. The people there were wicked and cruel, and they didn't care about God. But God cared about them. God told his messenger Jonah to warn them that they must change their ways or be destroyed. "I won't go," said Jonah. "The people deserve to be punished, and what's more, they are enemies of my people, Israel." So Jonah ran away from God. He got on a ship that was sailing far away from Nineveh. There's Jonah on the big ship in the very little storybook. But that night, when Jonah slept, God sent a terrible storm. The sailors were terrified and thinking the ship would sink, threw the cargo, everything into the sea. They woke up Jonah. "It's my fault," said Jonah. "Throw me into the sea." The sailors didn't want to throw Jonah into the sea. They didn't want to hurt him or for him to drown, but they did as he told them. At once, the sea grew calm. Then God sent a great fish to swallow Jonah. Whoa, can you imagine being swallowed by a giant fish? I bet it was really smelly in the fish's belly, and I wonder what else was floating about in it. All kinds of nasty, dirty things. It must have been really frightening. But as Jonah sat inside the fish, he realized that God had rescued him. After 3 days, the great fish swam near the land. It opened its huge mouth and spat Jonah out onto the shore. "Now, Jonah," said God, "go to Nineveh and give the people my warning." This time, Jonah did as he was told. There's a big fish that spat Jonah out onto the land. He was very lucky, wasn't he? Because I'm sure if most of us were swallowed by a big fish, we wouldn't be seen again. The people of Nineveh did listen to Jonah and were very sorry that they had made God angry. The king and all his people stopped doing wicked things and tried to please God. And you know what? God forgave them. But that's not the end of the story. Because Jonah was angry because he thought the people deserved to be punished. "I knew you would forgive them," he said, "because you're a kind and loving God. You're always ready to forgive people who turn back to you, however bad they've been." So that's the end of the story. But I think we all need to be more like God and less like Jonah, and think about being able to say sorry to people we've hurt, and also being able to forgive people who've hurt us, and to accept when they say sorry.